Hi guys, this is mechanics for the periodic on week 7. So this is the first quiz. It's vectors 1.1 to 1.5. Okay, so this is question 1. It's very simple, you just need to focus. So it's a square. First thing they gave us is A, B, C, D is a square. And these are midpoints. Okay, and there's vectors A and B represented. Okay, so if it's a square, then if this is B, then this is also B. And if this is A, then this is also A. Like DC is A and CB is B also, okay? Now, it wants the vector Mn, okay? So Mn is from N, so from M, sorry, the initial is M, and it ends at N, okay? So we have to start from M and go like this to N, okay? So that's like basically the track that we will use to solve this. So first we have to go from M to D. How do we go from M to D? Well, let's see. First of all, we said this is A, so this is A. So this D to C is like this, right? Like this is the direction and the length. But M to D is in the opposite direction. So the first thing we're gonna do is put a negative, okay? So then with the negative we'll be able to flip it and it will become C to D. So it will be in the direction that we're going. Now, we don't need C to D, we need M to D. M to D is only half of A. Okay, it's only half of A, so we do negative 1/2 of A. And that's the first part. Now, since we still need to go to N, we go from D to N. Like this is the direction we need to go. We need to go down, okay? This whole thing, by the way, is B, okay? But we have another issue. B, as you can see here, is directed upwards, and we need to go down. So we're gonna put another negative. So it's not gonna be negative 1/2A minus, okay, something B. B is now, since we flipped it, it's not A to D anymore, it's D to A, okay? But they only want until N. N is the midpoint, so it's half of B, okay? So negative 1/2A minus half of B, and it's here, okay? So now question 2, this is just something you memorize. Vector quantities is force, displacement, and velocity. Vector means it has direction and magnitude. Okay, this is very easy. It's the same concept as the one before. So let's look what they're asking. They want negative P and R. P is going in this direction, okay? Negative means they want you to flip it, so it's gonna be flipped. So it's gonna be, instead of A to B, it's gonna be B to A. You see how we flip the arrow? And then plus R. So this is what they want, which is BE right there, okay? Now the next one is negative P minus Q plus R plus S. Okay, very easy. Negative P is from A to B, so they want negative, so we flip it. It becomes B to A. So this is negative P, okay, minus Q, so Q is from B to C. We also flip it because they want minus Q, so negative Q also. Okay, so now we have C to B to A, and then they want plus R plus S, so we just add the normal R and the normal S, and so it will be from C to D. Simple as that. Basically, just the point is you have to like check what they're asking, and then you connect the, like, you basically just connect them where they're open, okay? So C to D, okay, and then negative R, so we check R, it's from A to E, so we flip it. Since it's negative, it becomes E to A, so this is negative R, plus P, so normal P this direction, plus Q, so a normal Q in this direction, and it will be from E to C. Okay, basically the initial point till the end point, that's basically it. Okay, so here we have a E to C, and then the last thing they want is R plus S. Very simple. Normal R, which is in the direction it's going in, plus normal S, positive S, which is in the direction it's going in, and it's gonna be AD, which is right here. And that's how you solve question. Okay, question 4 is also pretty easy. It just needs some explaining. Basically, I need you to keep in mind that we have this formula, which is the vector is equal to final points minus initial points. Final points is the points at the head of the vector. You know, in the vector we have the tail and the head. Okay, and then the initial is going to be the tail. Okay, so you just have to keep this in mind and always have this equation. So they want the vector, which we said v is f minus I. So v, we're going to do, this is the equation that they gave us. Okay, so this is f, which is the head, and this is I, which is the tail. Okay, AC, they already gave it to us, so we can just do like the general term, v equals 3 times, okay, I means x, okay, and j means y, so it's gonna be 3, 4, and then minus 2 BA. But we don't have BA, we have the points of A and we have the points of B. So the way that we're going to find BA is a vector, right? So it's gonna be BA, we're gonna use this equation that I wrote at the top. BA is equal, okay, B is the initial, which is the tail, and A is the final, because it starts at B and it ends in A, which is the head. So it's gonna be the points of the points of A, because it's final minus initial, we said here final minus initial, so points of A, which will be -3 and 4, minus the points of B, which is 5 and 0. Okay, so we did so now we find BA. Simply you do the x minus the x, -3 minus 5, it would be -8, the y minus the y, 4 minus 0, and it would be 4. So this is the value of BA, simply by using the equation that I wrote at the top. Okay, just remember, V is always gonna have a name, like this is the initial, this is the final, and it's always gonna be final minus initial, okay, and the points of a vector. Okay, so we have BA, we have AC, and we already put 3 times AC. Now we're gonna do minus 2 times BA, which is -8 and 4. Okay, so V is equal 3 times the x, which is 9, and then 3 times the y, which is 12, minus 2 times the x, which is -18, which is positive, because -2 times -8, sorry, I meant -8. -2 times -8 is going to be positive 16. Okay, and then -2 times 4, which is the y, is going to be -8. Okay, so we have these, and we're just gonna do, this is x, this is y, this is x, this is y. X plus x is 25, y plus y, which is 12, plus -8, which is 12 minus 8, which is 4, and this is what V is equal to. So we have it here, 25i, which is x, and then plus 4j, which is y. Okay, so that is the first part. Okay. Now they're saying the tail of V. We said that the tail is the initial, okay, and the final is the head, okay. So the tail is located at -1x and 2y, okay. So they want the head. So they basically gave us the initial and they want the final, and we have the total. So the points of the vector, which is, so we're gonna do vector is equal to final minus initial. So the points of the vector which we got, 25 and 4, is equal to the final, which is the head, which we don't know, so x and y, minus the initial, which is the tail, which is -1 and 2. So -1 and 2. And then simply sorry, we're going to first do the x's. So x25 equals x minus -1, so x plus 1. So x is going to be 24. Okay, and then we do the y's. So 4 is equal to y minus 2. So y is going to be equal to 6. So the head, which is the final, is 24x and 6y. Okay, this one is easy. Unit vector, there's an equation. So the equation is, unit vector is going to be equal to v over this, which is this is basically just the magnitude of v. So it's going to be v over the magnitude of v. And remember last question we said the magnitude is m is equal to radical I squared plus j squared. So it's gonna be v over this. Basically this is the equation. So they give us v, it's 9 and 3. So we're gonna do 9 and 3 over the magnitude, which we need to find. So we're gonna do radical 9 squared plus 3 squared, and you get 81 plus radical 81 plus 9, so radical 90. So it's going to be 9.5. Okay, so the magnitude is 9.5. So we're gonna do it over 9.5. Okay, so this is v over the magnitude. Okay, and then we're gonna separate them. So it's gonna be 9x over 9.5, which is 9 over 9.5, and then 3 over 9.5. So it's going to be, so this is I and this is j. So 9 over 9.5, you're going to get 0.95. So it's going to be 0.95i, which we have here, plus 3 divided by 9.5, which is 0.32j, which is exactly what we got here. So remember, the equation for the unit vector is just v, so the points, over I squared plus j squared. Okay, so that's question 6, and now we have question 7. This one, صراحة, the way that I did it is on my calculator. I pressed it shift, and then I pressed plus. Did I say pressed it? My bad. Shift and then plus, and then you do you put the -4, and then you put comma, and you put -3, and then you're going to get because they're asking for the polar, so that's how you get the polar. You put those points, polar -4, comma. To do comma, you do shift close bracket -3, and then you get the magnitude, which is 5, and you get an angle which is -143, and then to this you always just add 360. Like whatever you get for the angle when you use the calculator method, you just add 360 and then you're going to get 217. So the magnitude stays the same, and then the angle that they give you, you just add 360. So it's 5 and 207. Okay, basically in this one they gave us the polar coordinates, which is the magnitude and the angle, and we have to find x and y. Okay, so simply I like to draw it. Okay, so they said 30 degrees, so it's gonna be 30, and then this is 4. Okay, so we have to find the x component and the y component. So x is always gonna be the magnitude cosine the angle, and then y is gonna be the magnitude sine the angle. So magnitude is 4, cosine the angle, which is 30, is gonna be 3.5 I, and then for sine 30 it's gonna be 2 I. So you get 3.5 and 2, and yeah, that's just how you do that. You find the x. Okay, they gave us the magnitude and the heading of vector OA, so we just have to find the resultant. So I'm going to draw it. So north, south, east, and west. So north 30 degrees towards the west, so it's going to be 30 degrees from north to west. Okay, so this is 60 degrees. Okay, and then this is 5. And you need to find the x component and OA, by the way. Sorry, I wrote it wrong. You need to find the x component and the y component, okay? So remember, x component is magnitude cosine the angle, and y component is magnitude sine the angle. Okay, so x is going to be m, which is 5, cosine the angle with the horizontal, which is 60, and you get 2.5, but it's on the negative x side. Okay, it's on, this is positive x, okay, and then this is negative x. Since it's on this side, it will be negative 2.5. okay, now we have to find the y. The y is, it's up, so it's positive, it's not anywhere here or here, so the answer for the y would be positive, and it will be y is equal to 5 sine 60, and simply you get 4.3. So it's going to be negative 2.5 I and 4.3 j. Negative 2.5 I plus 4.3 j. Basically, you just find Cartesian form is basically just saying I for x and j for y. So this is x and this is y, so it's going to be negative 3 I because it's x, and then 2 j because it's y. Very simple. You just slot them in. Okay. Okay. They want A, C, okay? We have B, C, and we have A, and we have B. So first we have to find C, because how will we get AC if we don't even have the points for C? We have the points for A, but we don't have the points for C. So remember what I told you, vector is equal to final minus initial. So we have this vector with C, and we have this, which is the initial, because it's from B to C. So this is the initial, and C is the final. So BC will be equal to final, which is C, minus B. Okay? Okay, so now BC is going to be 3 and 4. So 3, 4 is equal to x and y, because they're unknown, minus the points for B, which is 2 and negative 2. Okay, so we're going to separate them. So first we're going to do the x's. This is the x, this is the x, and this is the x. So 3 is equal to x minus 2. So, sorry, so x is 5. And then we're finding C, by the way. And then we're going to do the y, which is 4, y, and negative 2. So it's going to be 4 is equal to y minus negative 2, which is y plus 2, which is, y would be 2, okay? So we have x and we have y, so C is 5 and 2. Okay, so now that we got C, we can find AC. Okay, so AC, which is the vector, is equal to A is the initial because it's from A to C. Okay, so C is the final, so it's gonna be C, which is 5 and 2, minus the initial, remember final minus initial, which are the points for A, which they gave us, 4 and 7. Okay, and now simply we just solve separately. So this is x, this is y, this is x, this is y. Okay, x minus x, so 5 minus 4, you get 1i. Y minus y, so 2 minus 7, you get negative 5j. So it's 1i plus negative 5j. Okay, and simple. We said the bearing is from here and it goes clockwise. Okay, so they want the bearing of 60 degrees. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, and this is 60, this is 30. Okay, this is north, remember, north, south, east, west. Okay, they just want another way to say the angle. So you can say this vector over here, I'm going to color it something different so you can see it better, is east, okay, east 30 degrees towards the north. Okay, or you can say this is north 60 degrees towards the east. Okay, 60 degrees towards the east. So either or is correct. So either east 30 degrees north or north 60 degrees east. But here they did not give us north 60 degrees east, they only gave us east 30 degrees north. So we're going to put that, and that is the correct answer. And you're going to just do the exact same thing for the other one. So you draw the graph, north, east, south, and west. Bearing of 300, remember you start from here, 90, 180, 270, 300. This is 30 degrees, and then this is 60 degrees. Okay, so it's either north 60 degrees to the west, so north 60 degrees west, or it's west 30 degrees north, west 30 degrees north. And here they gave us west 30 degrees north only, so that's the answer. Thank you guys.